On this week's episode of the Best of Johnston County podcast, we continue our candidate series, and this time we have Chad Stewart, who's running for Johnston County Commissioner District 3. Chad held that seat from 2013 to 2021 when he resigned to run the Johnston County ABC Board. We talked to Chad about why he left the commissioners in the middle of his last term, what he did with the ABC Board, his time growing up in Johnston County, and why he wants to be your county commissioner for the next 4 years. So listen in.
Welcome to another episode of Best of Johnston County, brought to you by Breeden Law Office. Our host, Jonathan Breeden, an experienced family lawyer with a deep connection to the community, is ready to take you on a journey through the area that he has called home for over 20 years. Whether it's a deep dive into the love locals have for the county or unraveling the complexities of family law, Best of Johnston County presents an authentic slice of this unique community.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Best of Johnston County podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Breeden, and today we're continuing our candidate series with Chad Stewart, who is running for the District 3 County Commissioner race. Chad Stewart was a county commissioner from 2013 to 2021 when he resigned to take over the ABC board in Johnston County. So he was on our podcast back in May of 2024 talking about the ABC board, how it's structured, how the liquor laws in North Carolina work. If you're interested in that, go back and listen to that podcast. It was fascinating. It's one of the most viewed podcasts we've had on the Best Johnston County podcast. But today we're going to talk to him about why he is running for, I guess not really re-election, but election again to the county commissioners after being appointed in 2013, elected in 2014, elected in 2018, and then resigning in 2021. But before we get to that, we'd like to ask you to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you see it, whether you're on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, or any of the other social media channels of the Best Johnston County podcast. Best Johnston County podcast comes out every single Monday and has now for over 2 years. So go back and listen to our previous episodes, including when Chad Stewart was on before, County Economic Director Chris Johnston, and we had 2 episodes with the County Manager Rick Hester. Welcome, Chad.
Thank you, Jonathan. We go back a long way.
I know. I appreciate you coming back. I mean, we had like 10,000 views of the last one when you were here. That's one of our most viewed episodes on YouTube. But anyway, state your name and what you do.
My name's Chad Stewart. I am up for election, District 3 County Commissioner. I did step down as chairman to run the Johnston County ABC system, which, as you mentioned, we did our podcast, and it's just fascinating. I love Johnston County ABC. It's amazing of how it is structured, the revenue it brings to the county, and how much people just don't understand exactly the ABC system. So I enjoyed that podcast. I did.
Right. Well, that's great.
I still love it, but I resigned December 31st to take a year because I knew my seat, District 3, would be coming up and considering a run for county commissioner again. A lot of people say, why would I vote on you when you quit? Well, I didn't necessarily quit, Jonathan. I moved to another level of county government.
Okay.
I resigned from county commissioner.
Right.
Did a lot of good things in 3 years. We built stores, remodeled stores. We've increased sales, which goes into the general fund, as you very well know. It's a very complicated system with ABC.
Right.
I enjoyed it. I resigned December 31st.
2024.
To decide if I was going to run with my seat come up. And I filed on December 18th. A race was already created. The seat that I held, the guy that got appointed, Mr. Braswell, resigned. I put my name in the hat to be appointed back to that seat and pull my name out because I wanted to be elected, not appointed. Mike Rose, great guy, is our sitting commissioner in District 3 from Princeton. Very good guy, doing a good job. He got challenged before I entered this race by Adam Caldwell. Adam's a great guy. Adam has served on many committees, done a great thing. But when they redrew the lines, the district lines, Adam got drawn into my district, not by his choosing. So he filed election against our sitting appointed commissioner, Mike Rose. So I waited to the last day and decided to enter a race that was already created.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Well, we'll get to why you're running here in a second. Tell me a little bit about, not everybody watches all the podcasts other than like my wife and some family members and a neighbor. Where are you born? Where you grow up? I know you went to NC State. A little bit of your biographical history.
Okay. Obviously, you can Google the good and the bad because I do have a record. I was born in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. My daddy got out of the Vietnam War as a captain in the Army, and that was his duty station, and that's where I was born. We moved from there to Four Oaks, North Carolina, where my daddy was raised, my granddaddy. We've got a Four Oaks, Johnston County history since 1905. So when I was 3 years old, I came back to my hometown, basically, where I live now. I live, work exactly where I've been for 55 years.
Right.
Well, I'm 55, basically.
Right. Did you go to South Johnston High School?
Graduated South Johnston 1988, went to NC State. It lasted 1 year. Grades weren't real good. Went to United States Navy for 4 years. When I got out of the United States Navy, I entered Johnston Community College, got an associate degree, transferred to Campbell University, and got my Bachelor of Business degree.
All right. And you're a farmer, right?
I've raised cows,
right.
Farming family.
You had a gas station?
Gas station, retail, car lot, auto mechanics. Now I'm pretty much doing North Carolina vehicle inspections.
Okay. All right.
Which I've done for 30 years.
Okay.
But I live on the same corner. I am a lifelong resident of Four Oaks, Johnston County, and I'm a product of the community.
Right. So do you still own the gas station and the building behind it where we had the meetings and stuff, Christmas parties?
I have recently sold that.
Okay. All right.
To the Carroll family.
Okay.
That owns the fertilizer company. But we worked out a deal where I could still stay and inspect vehicles.
Okay.
So
you did any oil changes or any of that, or y'all just doing inspections?
I just do inspections. They own all of it. They're remodeling the building in the back. They've got it very nice. My children did not. I've got 3 boys. Matter of fact, as of yesterday, my oldest one turned 22. He is a senior at UNC Wilmington. My middle son is starting at East Carolina. He's there right now. And my youngest is a senior at South Johnston High School, where my wife teaches mathematics.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right. So
they didn't want anything to do with the mechanics or the grill or the convenience store, and I'm kind of glad they didn't. So it was a good opportunity for me and the Carroll family to kind of partner up and allow me to stay there and still do vehicle inspections.
That's cool. Hey, you're a big Wolfpack fan. You and I you and I were in Dallas when NC State beat Duke to go to the Final Four. We had a great time there.
It's a shame that we live right down the road, and I see you at the state basketball games in Dallas.
I know, right? That was a lot of fun.
And my wife is a graduate of NC State.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We had a ton of fun down there in March of 24 with that run with Kevin Keats and DJ Burns and all that. That was a ton of fun. I'll never forget that. We had a great time.
And I went to D.C., You
went to D.C. before that, right?
Before that. But I didn't go to Phoenix. My wife and my youngest son, which is an avid Wolfpack.
I did get to go to Phoenix.
So you went to Phoenix?
I did. It was a ton of fun. NC State might not go back to the Final Four. I needed to go that one time, let me tell you. So anyway.
Have family law questions? Need guidance to navigate legal challenges? The compassionate team at Breeden Law Office is here to help. Visit us at www.breedenfirm.com for practical advice, resources, or to book a consultation. Remember, when life gets messy, you don't have to face it alone.
All right, so you were a county commissioner from 2013 to 2021. What are you the most proud of that you did in that 8 years?
Wow, that's a big question. Jonathan, I'm not going to say it's anything I did.
Right. Well, I mean, the board did. I mean, you're a board of 7.
What we did.
Right. Y'all did.
We've got great county staff. We know Rick Hester is a legend. I mean, he is absolutely the best. We kept him on board, still there. When I got on the board, appointed when my dad died in 2013, our fund balance was at, basically savings account, was at about 13%. We adopted an internal policy that we would not allow it to drop below 15%. Right now, I think it's at 70%. Now, the good and the bad comes with that. We're not in the business of taking the public's money and using it as a bank. But the year after I stepped down, we hit a AAA bond rating. That's the highest you can get with Moody's, S&P. I'm very proud of that. We've always been able to maintain a very good financial standing in Johnston County.
Yeah, no, they have. And I vehemently disagree with the current board that we have this crazy high fund balance after they just raised taxes 20%. But I don't have a vote.
Okay,
I've told them that. I know we're going into a building program, but I mean, we've got $250 million in savings and we're raising taxes. I mean, what do you think about that?
We got a $412 million budget. Now, when I say fund balance is 70%, 30% of that is already committed. So it's not exactly sitting there in the bank. It's committed. Now, we built a new jail, a new public safety center. We're on the works of building a new DSS building. But I agree with you on the fund balance. When you do a AAA bond rating, which saves the county and the taxpayer millions of dollars in interest, I think last year, off our fund balance, we created $16 million in interest alone on the money in the fund balance. Now, I agree with you. The fund balance could appear to be too high, but you got to take the committed out of it that we've got for projects. But we're in great financial standing. When you hit AAA, and anybody can Google it, there's not many counties that's got a AAA bond rating.
Well, we just went through the reevaluation.
Now, I want to talk about that for a minute, if you don't mind. People say we've raised taxes, and I say I'm not there now. Reevaluation is not raising taxes, okay?
Okay.
Reevaluation is mandated by state legislation.
Correct.
We were at 8 years. When I was there during my tenure, we cannot go above 8 years before we have a reevaluation. And you can have one every year. That's the lowest you can go. We moved it from 8 years to 6 years to where we're at now, 4 years. And the public, that is not a tax raise. That is a reevaluation of property. Now, granted, we generate revenue off that reevaluation.
Right.
The only control county commissioners have is the number of years you do it, which we lowered it to 4, and who you choose to do it, which we've outsourced to independent companies, which I think we're got the staff and the technology where we might start doing it in-house. That is not raising anybody's taxes. That is mandated by North Carolina legislation. All we got control over is who does it and the number of years. And everybody says, well, you've lowered it to 4 so it can increase. Naturally, the money goes into the general fund. But now, if you were evaluated at 200% on your property and the economy has a recession next year, do you want to pay 8 years on that? Or would you rather pay 4 years on it?
I don't disagree that they should do it, that 8's too long in a fast-growing county, and 6, so the county ended up with 70% more taxable property. It went up 70%, and this time, the last time Cleveland and Clayton got hit, this time the entire county got hit. Even Four Oaks and Princeton went up 70%, and so that's a lot. But the commissioners, and you weren't there, and look, when you did the reevaluation there, it was not revenue neutral then. It wasn't revenue neutral now. It was about 20% more.
And it will never be revenue neutral.
Okay. Why not?
That's a good question. What commissioners do have control over, and I've done it many years, is your property tax rate.
Right.
We need to take reval off the table and talk about property tax rate. They've got total control. I did it for many years. 15 cents on the 100, the largest property tax reduction in recorded history. But it still cannot meet reval where families has got 200 to 500%. Now, what we also need to understand is from our county manager to our elected officials and our county commissioners, they all pay property tax.
Absolutely. Mike Rose said his went up $1,500 this year when
They
he was
all pay property tax. Now, reval is totally different than tax rate. They had the largest recorded decreased tax rate, but they still couldn't meet revenue neutral. It just don't work. Now, back to the fund balance. I completely agree. But when you look at a large fund balance, when you got a $412 million budget and you've got 70% of that, and it's basically the county saying, wait a minute, I can use your money better than you can. I can control your money better than you can. Well, we're not talking about what is committed out of that fund balance. So if it's 72% of 412 million, what has been committed to future projects and past projects? And we cannot hide the fact what we're saving when we hit a AAA bond rating.
Well, I understand, but I mean, I think you only have to have 30 or 35% to have a AAA bond rating, and we have 7%.
No, you're right.
And I know they got I know they got a new DSS building. I know they're going to spend $103 million or more on a new Clayton High School, and they're not selling bonds for it. They're going to try to cash flow it, or they're not doing a public voted bond. They're going to do a general obligation bond through the local government commission, and we don't have time to get into all of that. That'll put the listeners to sleep.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still a lot. And I know they're going to, in the DSS building, and they need a county admin building, and they're going to build a courthouse annex where the Mass law firm sits now. So, I mean, I know what they're doing. It just seems like a lot of savings.
It is
on top of the fact that they ended up adding 20%. So to me, that's kind of a tax increase over to revenue neutral. And I mean, you weren't there, so you're not responsible for that. But what would you do with that fund balance and that tax rate if you're elected?
That's a great question. And let's make sure we're understanding. I understand where the commissioners are at. County manager, finance staff, all our staff. They work hard every day. That is excessive. Once again, until you dig deep into it, we don't know what is committed. Now, once again, when I got on the board in 2013, the fund balance was 13%. It has grown. We do not know what is committed out of that fund balance. To your point, and I've been to the biggest financial meetings in New York with Moody's and S&P. Fund balance has a very small part of the AAA rating. They look at jobs. They look at salaries. We've got a divided county, okay? You take the I-95 corridor. You come this way, 4042, Clayton, Flowers, when you got an average of $60,000, $70,000 a year jobs. Then you go 10 minutes down the road, east of our county, $30,000 a year jobs. That's got a lot of dynamics. It throws us in a different tier when it comes to federal funding, grants, and whatnot, because we're heavy on one end, low on the other end.
And they don't divide the county up.
They don't
tiers.
divide
Right.
the county up
tier.
tiers.
I got you.
Right. So we get excluded out of a lot of federal funding that Bertie County might get, or some of the more eastern counties. I'm all about the I-95 corridor. I'm all about natural gas. I'm all about growing one end of the county like we've grown the other end of the county. When I stepped down, we have spent over $500 million in the western part of the county with schools, infrastructure. Where I live on the eastern part of the county looks the same way it did 50 years ago. Now, some people say they don't want the growth. Some people say we want it to look this way. I don't necessarily feel that way. But what would I do with the fund balance? And we all can criticize, but I've got more confidence in the world of our county commissioners, our county manager, our finance staff, our emergency staff, every environmental staff. You could not find better department heads than we've got right now.
All right. So why, we can't do this all day because you and I could talk for hours.
I know.
We've been friends for a long time.
I know it.
Why should the voters vote for you in this race to give you another term on the county commissioners?
I'm proving. We've kept our head above water. We've kept people safe. We're growing. Growth is a whole nother topic. I mean, I tell people, anybody that says they want to stop growth, you can't make somebody farm tobacco if they don't want to farm tobacco. You can't make someone grow cows if they want, and I've done all of it. The bottom line is that is just as irresponsible as a doctor saying, I'm going to make you live forever. It's just not going to happen. We're not still plowing mules. We're not still using feathers and ink to write letters. Growth is here. I understand people's frustration, but I've been there. I was the chairman of the board. I understand the finances. I understand the growth. I understand how county government works. But most importantly, I understand what the people need. And if anybody ever says anything about me, good or bad, they'll say I'm Chad Stewart every time they see me. I'm accessible. And that's what your representatives need to be, accessible. You better be able to call them, walk in and talk to them. I'm the common everyday man. I work with my hands. Well, I would say that's the reason why I'm running. I mean, even when I stepped down to run ABC, I did county commissioner work every day. My dad did it. It's in our blood, and people know how to find me, they know how to call me, and that would be my answer to that question. I'm accessible.
You're accessible. So how can people learn about your campaign?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
You got a Facebook page, I know.
Well, it's like I told my wife, and she gets way more wrapped up in it than I do. I said, there's 3 prongs to a campaign. Finance. You got to have on record a finance officer that has to file with the Board of Elections. You've got to have advertisement. That is online, that's signs, that's mailers. And then you've got to have the candidate that has got to be where he needs to be, doing what I'm doing right now and raising money. 3 prongs. And I've got 3 good people. I've got a finance officer. I've got my wife as advertisement, so to speak. And obviously I'm the candidate.
Right. So do you have a website?
Yes.
Okay. What is your website?
Lord have mercy. Chad Stewart, Johnston County Commissioner on Facebook.
Okay. All right.
And obviously my wife can give more details on that, but yes.
Right. So just search Chad Stewart for County Commissioner on Facebook. I got you.
And you can see everything I've done, every committee I've been on, the good and the bad, and naturally, you know how politics is.
Yeah.
They dig deep.
No, that's true.
Just because it's out there don't mean it's true. Okay.
I understand.
Just because it's put out there, there's a lot of litigation going on. And we talked earlier about a situation that's in litigation, and
but you're going to get it resolved.
It's being resolved.
It's being resolved, right?
Yes.
That's the main thing, right?
But as a fellow told me, a fellow attorney that you know very well, because of the internet, good people are not stepping up to the plate.
I can understand that.
They do not want to go home and have their kids be embarrassed of what's said about their dad. They don't want their grandkids to have to see this stuff every night. But do we let them win, Jonathan?
Hey, I think everybody should run. No.
Do we let them win?
No.
Do we let the select few mudslingers keep good people from doing a good job?
I don't think so. I think good people should still run and let the voters decide what they want to do. So the last question we ask everybody, we asked you this last time, what do you love most about Johnston County?
What's there not to love about Johnston County? After 4 years in the Navy, I said, when I get back to that little corner that I've lived on my whole life is where I'm going to be. Now, I love to travel. I mean, me and the wife and the kids, we do our shared traveling. Johnston County is very financially sound. Johnston County, in my opinion, and I'm biased, obviously, is the greatest county you can live in. You still have got great restaurants. You still got a rural countryside. 75% of this county is still farm, woodland, and water.
Yeah.
75%. Now, where are you going to get that?
I don't
How long does
disagree.
it take you to get to the beach, Jonathan?
2 hours.
How long does it take you to get to the mountains?
3 hours.
Have you got an interstate system that works for you?
Yes. That's it. No, you're right. It's great. I love Johnston County. I love
Did
that.
I answer your question?
Yeah, you asking me the questions, but no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Well, look, we like to thank Chad Stewart for being our guest on this week's episode of the Best Johnston County Podcast. He is on the Republican primary ballot March 3rd, 2026 for the District 3 Commissioner seat versus Adam Caldwell and Mike Rose, both of which were on this podcast within the last few weeks. So you can go back and listen to all 3 of the candidates and decide who you want to vote for. If you're a Republican or you're a registered unaffiliated, you can vote in this race. There is no Democrat. So the winner of the March 3rd primary between Adam Caldwell, Chad Stewart, and Mike Rose will be the District 3 Johnston County Commissioner for the term December of 2026 to December of 2030. Everybody in the county can vote. You have to live in the district to run, but it is a county-wide election. So do your homework and decide who you want to vote. Reach out to Chad on his Facebook page. Do your homework. He was commissioner for 8 years. There's tons of stuff out there about what he did. He just told you why he wanted to get reelected or elected again to the District 3 seat, and decide who you want to vote for. As we mentioned earlier, please like, follow, subscribe to this podcast wherever you see it, whether it be Apple, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and also leave us a 5-star review down below. It'll help us raise our visibility. And also, if you wouldn't mind, tag us in your Instagram stories, Best of Johnston County. Until next time, I'm your host, Jonathan Breeden.
That's the end of today's episode of Best of Johnston County, a show brought to you by the trusted team at Breeden Law Office. We thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to sharing more interesting facets of this community next week. Every story, every viewpoint adds another thread to the rich tapestry of Johnston County. If the legal aspects highlighted raise some questions, help is just around the corner at www.breedenfirm.com.